Hi, my name is Josh Orr, and I just want to say what a pleasure it is to be talking with you today. I did my thematic analysis on the life of Abraham and the life of faith, and sometimes the lack thereof, that he showed. And so, uh, as I looked at that, the first thing that came to mind was Abraham being called out of the land of Ur. And here Abraham is being called out of a land, not knowing where he was going. We see in Hebrews 11:8 that by faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place, and he went not knowing where he was going. For what? To receive an inheritance. We see the writer of Hebrews tell us. And so he got called by Yahweh, by God, to go out of this land and to go to a place of inheritance. The second thing that we notice is a failure by Abraham, and really in his marriage with Sarah. What a great marriage that would have been between the two of them, but they had heartache and struggle. They couldn't have kids, and so Sarah has the idea to give Abraham a son through her servant Hagar. And so out of that came Ishmael. And then because of that sin, because God wanted marriage to be between one man and one woman, and here now Abraham essentially has two wives. And because of that sin, there was jealousy. And because of that jealousy, after Sarai had Ishmael or Isaac, she had Abraham send Hagar and Ishmael away, essentially with a bottle of water and a loaf of bread, essentially to die in the desert. And really, what this is a picture of is Genesis 3 and the fall of man, and the way that we as men and women try and handle our own sin instead of relying on God. The third thing I looked at is the ultimate test of any person's faith, and that was Abraham's sacrificing of Isaac. And so what was the purpose of this? This was the ultimate test that God was giving to Abraham. And so this is really a foretelling, a precursor to the ultimate sacrifice of God sending his own son. And so Abraham took Isaac, and they went to the mountain to sacrifice without an animal. Now Isaac was at an age where he understood. He was probably a teenager, maybe his early 20s. He understood what was going on and that they needed an animal for sacrifice. So what was the problem? There was no animal. Isaac was the sacrifice. And yet Abraham had faith of God to provide an animal. And just as he's about to sacrifice Isaac, we're told that an angel yells, "Stop! Don't do that." Abraham stops and pulls his son off of the altar, and there is a ram to be sacrificed. God provided. And yet, during this Christmas season, as we hear about the birth of Christ, let us not forget about the sacrifice that God ultimately made. That He didn't just send His Son to be born in a manger, but ultimately to be sacrificed on a cross for our sins. Have a good Christmas.